UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, it's Robert Miguel. We are live at Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, to be exact. And we're out here for Fort Clark Days. I've got Cory here. Give me a mic check, Cory. Let me see how you sound there.
Mic check, mic check. Am I here? Can you hear me?
You sound good. I think we're live and on the air. So hopefully, if you're hearing dead air, well, then you can't hear what I'm saying anyway. So we are out here live right by the Butcher Block in front of the food court. We just did a Facebook Live to give you a little bit of an idea. Maybe you were tuned in, maybe you weren't. But we are out here having a good time, broadcasting live till noon. So thanks to all the people, the organizers with Fort Clark Days for inviting us out here and broadcasting live till noon, after which I feel like we should hang around and look around even more.
I think we need to walk around and check out what's going on, because there's a lot. I know there's some Native American stuff going on.
Yes.
And cannon firing, which is exciting.
Which scared you. It did. I'm getting all jittery. It's crazy. I'm all like, whoo. But it's fun. So, yeah, live artillery out here. The Native American dancers. There's going to be like the Camel Corps is here. They have real live camels out here.
Yes.
You know?
And live bands.
Yeah, live music as well, too. That's not quite period, but, you know what, we'll take it. And, again, like I said, we're at the food court, so we're right in a great spot. Plus, we're by the porta potties.
We don't have to go far.
Convenient. This is you couldn't ask for more. And look, there's some smoking going on. There's some food happening over there. So, again, we're broadcasting live. We're just making sure we're on the air. Hopefully, everything is cool. We're going to check the signal out in a moment. But, again, come out and see us in Brackettville if you're in Uvalde. Just like a 40-minute drive, not even 40 minutes west to Brackettville, Fort Clark Days. Basically, you just take 90, you hang a left into Fort Clark Springs.
Definitely worth the drive. Yeah, this is going to be really fun.
I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to get back into some music and continue our live broadcast here again, Fort Clark Springs. Details at fortclarkdays.org. Let's do some Cody Johnson. This is UvaldeRadio.net. All right, UvaldeRadio.net. We are live at Fort Clark Springs for Fort Clark Days here in beautiful Brackettville, Texas. You could not ask for a more lovely day. I'm Robert Miguel, and we're here broadcasting live till noon. I'm joined here by, sir, you have a really kind of a beautiful name, but I don't think I can pronounce it. Go ahead and tell me your name again, sir.
It's Memo Guzman.
Memo Guzman. Guzman? How do you say it? Was it G or no?
G. Guzman.
Okay. Man, you just say it so eloquently. But and the first name's Memo?
Memo.
Very nice. Well, thanks for being out here with us today. It looks like you got your day started off early. Now, you are, if I'm not mistaken, a Fort Clark Days board member?
Well, I'm a Fort Clark Days volunteer.
Volunteer?
I am a resident of Fort Clark.
Nice.
And I'm also a board of directors here for Fort Clark Springs. We have a board of directors that manages the homeowners association here at Fort Clark.
Ah, very good. So what exactly does that entail?
Well, it entails
just preservation and making sure that the ruffians don't move in, and just kind of making sure that everything's.
It's more of the us helping. We hire a general manager, and then the general manager will make suggestions regarding business-like stuff, regarding insurance, events. Helping. We just finished remodeling the motel.
Okay.
So we had a vote on these things to get all this done.
Right.
Our next big project is it's a continual remodeling of the Fort Clark Spring swimming pool.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Christina was talking that's something we need to go check out. So obviously you said events plural. So Fort Clark Days is one of the bigger things you guys do out here. What are other examples of some other events you guys might do?
This is the event, and fortunately or unfortunately, it takes a year to get all this organized.
Yeah.
And it's done by 100% by the volunteers. There is a lot that it doesn't seem like it, but there is a lot involved in organizing an event like this.
There is a lot of moving parts, I can tell, and obviously you got here earlier today. So the event actually kicked off yesterday. Give me a rundown of how it's been so far.
My understanding, we've had ample attendance. We had a lot of children here locally and from the area that came and visited with the living historians here that come from all over the country to show what they do regarding history and the past, regarding Texas or living, because this was Calvary Fort.
Right.
One of the things that a lot of people don't know of the history.
Okay, I'm sorry.
One of the things that a lot of people don't know that this fort was established in 1852. And it was established here to protect the settlers that were coming here from the Indians that were coming in from Mexico. There was numerous forts along the Rio Grande River, and this is one of them. This is one of the few, not the only one left with original buildings
Yeah.
from the time period. The building behind me is a commissary. At one time, it was the biggest building, largest building, tallest building west of the Mississippi for about 50 or 60 years.
It's a beautiful building too. It's so great that it's still intact and still there. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And also, all these buildings were they're original, like they're OG, right?
Correct.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I've often wondered how they were able to carry and move around so much rock to a lot of, at the turn of this, before 1900, it was manpower and some winches and horses and stuff, and it must have been quite the trek.
They didn't have construction equipment, cranes and whatnot. So no, it's really beautiful out here. People need to come out here and see it. It really is amazing, just like a feat of human strength, obviously. So what has your day been like as far as what are you in charge of in the volunteering and managing?
Fortunately, my part of being in charge is zero. I am where I need it. I have my golf cart here in front.
Yes, well, you're a golf cart guy. That makes you pretty important.
I'm bringing in people. I'm texting people up here. Some of the elderly citizens. I'm sure you've noticed a lot of elderly people here.
Yeah.
Or young families. My wife and daughter are selling waters and sodas over here on this side. And last night we participated in the dance that was between 7 and 10 o'clock last night. It was an excellent family event. We had children, we had dogs, we have people dancing, having a grand old time.
Very good. And so what's on tap for today? Anything in particular? Big dance last night? Well, obviously we got live music that just started up just now. And what else is happening today?
Well, we have live music today. My understanding is it's live music all day, and we have more vendors. They're selling from art to knitting to homemade products. One guy is selling farm fresh eggs at the commissary.
I saw that.
So it's a mix. It's a mix of stuff.
Well, there's a whole lot to do. There's a whole lot to see, and again, just the buildings themselves are just kind of a feat to just kind of gaze at.
I wanted to throw in a tidbit about Fort Clark real quick. Before the Civil War, which was in 1860 between the states, before the actual bombardment of Fort Sumter in South Carolina, there was almost a skirmish here before that happened between the Union Army occupied Fort Clark Springs, Fort Clark Army Base, and the Confederates came here. And when they got here, there was almost going to be a fight, but the Union general was smart enough to say, no, we're going to pack up our stuff and leave. And they left quietly, peacefully. There was some burning of some buildings from what I understand at the time. However, had there been a skirmish, that would have started the Civil War in 1860.
Wow, well, it still happened. So, no. But that's fantastic. So, I guess it's kind of cool to know that we have some peacemakers out here, some people preserving. So, what a fantastic. If anybody's out there listening and would like to learn more about the history of Fort Clark, is there like maybe an online website or some place where we can learn more?
There is multiple information regarding websites throughout the internet, but we have a wonderful museum right behind us.
Oh, okay.
And I would encourage you all to go visit.
Come out here in person.
Yeah, in person.
Yeah.
And they have artifacts going back to, of course, World War II, most of the World War II artifacts. They have a lot of information as to, at one time, Fort Clark housed many German prisoners. During the war, a lot of German prisoners were put here at Fort Clark. And they weren't locked up. From what I understand, they weren't locked up. They were secluded, but if they needed them to come clear out an area or clean offices or whatever else, that's what they did while they were serving their prison time.
Right, very good. Well, we'll have to talk to you a little bit more about some more history stuff. The band is going on. We got to get back into some music here, but thank you so much for the information.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we're having a great time again. Robert Miguel, we're live at Fort Clark Springs for Fort Clark Days in Brackettville. If you're in Uvalde listening, just a 40-minute drive to the west. It is a beautiful day. There's lots of food, drink, entertainment. Bring a checkbook because there's art to purchase as well, and we're going to do some more having a good time and some more edutainment, learning as well too. Let's get back into some music with some Aaron Tippin. This is UvaldeRadio.net.
See ya.
UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, it's Robert Miguel once again live Fort Clark Springs in Brackettville, Texas. We are live till noon today. Thank you to the Fort Clark people for inviting us out here. It is so far just a wonderful time. The weather is so beautiful. We got a nice little spot nestled over here in the corner between the food court and the live music. So I don't know if that's a sound check guy. I think the gentleman said he was going on live, but that was maybe 10 or he's done at 10. But there's a gentleman performing right now. Phil Pacheco and Country Horizons playing today. Do you have a schedule there, Cory?
They said that they were, he said 10 to 10:30 to noon that they were going to actually be playing.
10:30 to noon, that's when Country Horizons is playing,
Yes.
the full band, okay? So I guess either the sound checking or just doing like a solo thing. But there is some great stuff out here, beautiful buildings to check out. We just learned some history as well, too, by that gentleman. What was his name again? I can't remember. Was
Memo.
Cool? Memo.
Memo Guzman.
Memo, like, did you get the memo?
Did you get the memo?
I just did. All right, so I'll remember that now. And what else? Anything else mentioning that? We haven't really had a chance to really explore yet.
Well, we need to get out there and explore. I've had a few people come up and ask if we were going to walk around and talk to people, and I said, well, we can do some Facebook Live stuff maybe.
Yeah. No. We're live here with a bunch of equipment, so we're staying here. They can come to us, though.
They can come to us.
But it's going to be a great time. We're going to try to get as many a revolving cast of colorful individuals out here to talk to as much as we can. So
and pictures.
Yeah, we're going to get lots of photos. So check out the Uvalde Radio Facebook page. Go to Facebook and then just search Uvalde Radio and look for some photos. We should start getting on that real soon. So matter of fact, we're going to do a photo break, maybe even I guess something to drink, and let's keep it going with some music. Let's do some Brett Young. We are UvaldeRadio.net. We are live at Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville for Fort Clark Days. Details at fortclarkdays.org. UvaldeRadio.net, Robert Miguel. We are live at Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas for Fort Clark Days. If you are in Uvalde, just make a 40-minute drive to the west over here to Brackettville. It is a beautiful day, family fun, live music, lots of shopping, lots of food vendors, and just a great time. Historical stuff, man. So this is a fantastic, bigger and better than I ever even imagined. I'm going to get back into some music, but you guys come out and see us. Like I said, a 40-minute drive to Brackettville. Spend the day here. The event is open until 5 p.m., and if you need details, go to fortclarkdays.org. Some requested Brooks and Dunn out here live in Brackettville. This is UvaldeRadio.net. UvaldeRadio.net. We are live in Brackettville, Texas, Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs. The website is fortclarkdays.org. You might want to get a little bit of an idea of what you're getting into. But man, this is a beautiful day. There is food and fun. Now, the gentleman that was here earlier kind of said, admittedly, this is kind of like older people come out of this thing. It's a historical thing, so it kind of makes sense that some people that maybe lived part of the history here are the ones that appreciate it and kind of want to encourage people to come out here. But I suggest if you're listening in Uvalde and you got a family, there's a couple kids right there.
Yeah.
Bring the kids. This is a lot of fun, man. And these generations, they know everything. They're so smart these days, but they're not super mindful of the history, I don't think. So we could definitely learn something out here.
No, and I just went for a walk around, and there's some actual teepees out there with true Native Americans. They've got the history, the long hair.
Oh, nice.
They're keeping it all alive. And I ran into one
now, you
gentleman.
like those long-haired guys.
I
How are you doing a little flirting over there?
I did. I got a hug or two.
Nice. All right. Did he show your tomahawk?
No, but he told me to go in another tent where his dad was, and I was like,
Oh my goodness. But yeah. So what are they with an organization? Are they local? What's going on here?
I've got the traditional American Indian veterans are here.
Oh wow.
Yes, with Lenny Medina has a setup here, and he said they're one of the only ones around anymore.
Really?
And I guess the Comanches are going to be here, and the Apaches are going to be here.
Wow.
Or they are here.
Are those tribes to get along? Because we don't need some kind of like a crazy Native American war up in here.
No, I think that they set them all up next to each other and told them to behave.
Just, have a nice friendly game of bingo. Everything will be fine.
I think we're past all that.
But again, we're having a great time out here in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days, again, Living History Festival. They've got people in really great costumes, of course, and legitimate, Native Americans as well, too.
Yes.
And there's camels. I mean, the camels out here, I guess you can pet them. And
you're excited about the camels.
I love camels, man. Ever since I was a kid, go to the zoo, man. Camels and giraffes. Those are my things.
Have you ever ridden one?
I've never ridden a camel. I think that's why I'm so obsessed. I'm like, yeah. But also the ladies I date tend to look like camels with a big old hump.
Oh my.
Of course, I'm kidding.
I'm not even going to go there.
I've dated beautiful women and got beautiful kids to prove it. But we're having a good time out here. So come out here and have some laughs and some drinks with us. Have a good time. Not drinks. This is a family event.
Sweet tea.
Yeah, we got sweet tea. They got some strawberry lemonade over there. Lady over here at Wild West Soda just brought you some donut holes there.
Look at that.
Some breakfast there. So we're just a great time. Again, the event is going on till 5 5 p.m. today. If you like do a little bit of research before you get on out here, go to fortclarkdays.org, kind of get an idea, an overview as to what's happening. But the photos and the information don't even do it justice. This is really kind of cool.
The costumes are cool. The vendors, they've got just authentic wares even. It's really cool.
And Bracketvillians, I don't know if that's a word or not. They're really nice people as well, too.
Bracketvillians, not bracket villains.
Exactly. They're Bracketvillians. So let's go and get back into some music. We're going to have some more fun. We're going to post some photos on our Facebook page. So go to Facebook, find Uvalde Radio, and look for some photos very soon. Meanwhile, we're going to do some music by Carly Pierce, Next Girl. This is UvaldeRadio.net. Alrighty, UvaldeRadio.net. We are live at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas, and I'm Robert Miguel. We just did some David Lee Murphy there. Little dust on the bottle. There's dust all over everything these days because of that beautiful windstorm we had, and it just keeps on giving. It's a beautiful day out here, though, sunny and a little windy, but that's nice. And I'm joined here by Phil Pacheco. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Phil, welcome. Get up a little closer to the mic, and you're a musician, so you know better than that.
Right.
but I see you guys. You're with the band Country Horizons. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
So if I'm not mistaken, you spent some time in Uvalde. You guys play at the Herbie Ham Activity Center, right?
Yes, we're playing there again on April 7th.
That's fantastic. So, let me say this real quick. We have a weekly segment called Throwback Thursday on UvaldeRadio.net. We do 3 hours every Thursday morning from 9 a.m. to 12 noon of nothing but classic country, and it's sponsored by the Herbie Ham Activity Center. So Sue Schwenke Rankin would go on our station, at least monthly, and give us an update as to all the cool events they've got going on, and was talking about those Friday night dances at the Herbie Ham, and always bragged about you guys, Country Horizons, favorite band to book, and I'm sure you know that she's moved on and retired.
Yeah, she retired. Yes.
And but it's nice to connect, see a face and know the band that we're talking about here. So finally, after all these years of knowing Sue on the and being a part of our program, we finally come full circle and meet you from Country Horizons. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So you're playing here this afternoon throughout the day. How many times is Country Horizons performing today?
Well, this is going to be our last show.
Okay.
From
You played
10.
yesterday the dance, right?
Oh yeah, last night street dance, and we played yesterday morning.
Wow.
Now this morning we're going to play from 10 to 11:30, and then the Live Pan Indians come on. Then after that, Los Modest Creek Band comes on. That's Danny Calderon.
Okay.
And he comes on at 2 to 4. And then after that, I really don't know what the schedule is.
Well, we got a full schedule. We'll go through that here and again. But now, Country Horizons, obviously, you guys are a country and western band.
We're a classic country band.
Very cool. So give us an example of like some of the artists that you're covering, and do you have any original stuff you throw into?
Well, I do.
Okay, good.
I got a suitcase full of songs. But anyway, we do like Ray Price, Willie Nelson, all the good ones.
All the good ones?
Yeah.
You got a little outlaw in there as a classic. What do you lean into?
Waylon Jennings, we do a lot of his stuff, and Hank Williams.
Oh, very good. Okay, yeah.
And Hank Jr.
All
of
the
course.
best stuff. How about any Johnny Cash? You got
Yeah,
any,
we do
right?
Folsom Prison Blues and
Nice.
stuff like that.
I'm going to enjoy this. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about the band, Country Horizons. How long have you guys been together, and where are you based out of?
Well, we started in San Antonio,
Okay.
and I moved here in 2011, and I still play in San Antonio. I got a band over there that I play with, and I have a band here that I play with.
Very good.
So, Country Horizons has been together since like 1967.
Whoa! Wow!
Yeah,
Man.
so I've been around for a while.
You look great for your age, sir.
I'm 68.
That's insane. Your band is older than me. That's it's fantastic. Well, obviously you still got your get up and go. Hey, man, you know what? Being in a band, I mean, people think it's rock and roll and it's just all about making fast money and groupies, but there's a lot of discipline involved. You got to know your craft, you got to know your songs, but then there's the physical part. I'm sure you're moving equipment. You know what I mean? It gets harder the older you get, right?
I got a boy named Benny Brewer that does all that for me.
Good. I'm glad.
And I pay him to do that. So.
But there are still things. I mean, you still got to pick up a certain amount of stuff. I mean, yeah.
I help him with the speakers, getting them on the stands.
So what can we expect today? You guys are going on at 10:30. You said, right?
Yes, we're going to start. Matter of fact, I might start with Folsom Prison Blues.
Nice. Very good.
Since you like Johnny Cash.
I do like me some Johnny Cash. Very good. And and you guys playing for an hour and a half, you said?
Yeah, till 11:30.
And you guys play straight through or take a little break in there, or you just rock it and roll it?
I have to take a break so David Crow can come on and do
Okay.
his poetry and stuff, and yeah.
All right.
And he does the old ragged flag thing, and
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a really cool program. So, Country Horizons, once again, we got Phil Pacheco here. Man, you've been doing this for a long time. Give us some information about other places you guys are playing in the future if we miss you today.
Well, we're looking forward to playing May the 6th, I believe it is, in Bandera at the Wild Horse. We played a couple months there at the back way in, and we just play all over, just if they need us, we go.
And when was that next gig at the Herbie Ham Activity Center?
April 7th.
All right, very good. I'm trying to find some more music to play here. You know what? Oh, we're going to pull this one up here in a second. So do you guys, I know you guys are old timers as far as music goes. Do you have a website or a Facebook page where you can find more about you guys online?
Well, I had one up and it got taken down. But anyway, we're working on a new one.
Did you offend somebody? Did the Facebook police come after you?
My ex.
Oh, my goodness. You can't ever give the lady friends the password to anything because they will use that against you.
I found that out.
That's crazy. All right. Well, y'all find Country Horizons wherever they're playing you. So, again, playing regularly at the Herbie Ham Activity Center.
And we play every Sunday here in the fort at the little firehouse down the street.
Oh, okay.
Here.
That's good to know, too.
Every Sunday, 2 to 4, we play.
So is this Fort Clark Days kind of a regular gig for you guys? Have you been playing
This is
traditionally?
our first year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to be here again next year.
So tell me, what's your impression of the festival here so far?
Hey, it's great.
A lot of fun, right?
I've been here since 2011, and I haven't missed one yet. But I mean, this is my first one to play.
So what is your favorite part of the Living History Festival here at Fort Clark Days?
Oh gosh, the music.
The music. Okay. Now you're a musician, so aside from the music, I mean, there's guys in cool costumes.
Well, the good
there's
food,
cannons.
all the activities they have here, the camels, the cannons that go off. And I mean, it's pretty neat.
It's a really cool thing. Again, like I said earlier, you can go to the website fortclarkdays.org, find information on Facebook, but the photos and the information just don't do it justice. Once you get out here, it really takes you back to a different time. So it's a lot of entertainment and some education. So again, edutainment at its finest here in Brackettville, Texas. Well, Phil, thanks again for joining us here, man. I look forward to seeing you guys live. Anything else you would need to plug?
Well, if everybody out there don't have anything to do today, come on down to Fort Clark Days.
Yeah, get here by 10:30. See
there
live,
you go.
right?
You can catch our show.
So yeah, you've got just almost enough time if you're in Uvalde proper to get here. It's 40 minutes, But if you're closer, then just come on down, man.
El Rio's only 30 miles.
That's right. So either way, you can still catch most of the set either way from whatever way you're coming. Let's go back into some music, but we talked about some Johnny Cash. Let's go ahead and do the song they're going to kick off their set with, Little Folsom Prison Blues. We are UvaldeRadio.net. We are live in Brackettville for Fort Clark Days.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
All right, UvaldeRadio.net. Sorry, there's a whole lot of cooks in this kitchen today here, guys. We are live in Brackettville, Texas for Fort Clark Days. Fort Clark Springs in Brackettville, just about 40 miles west of Uvalde. I don't get out to this part of the state often. I'm a North Texas guy, and so coming closer to the border is not usually something I'm interested in doing. But we're having a great time. The weather is beautiful. The people are fantastic, and there's so much to do. So bring the family, bring the kids. This just kind of leans toward an older audience, I guess, because it's of the history angle, but the kids need to learn about this stuff. So if you're in Uvalde proper, come on out here, just a quick 40-minute drive, not even that, to beautiful Brackettville, Texas, and enjoy Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs. It's really easy. Just hang a left on 90 right where it says Fort Clark Springs. Okay, so I'm joined by this gentleman. What is your name again, sir?
Tommy Worrell.
Tommy Worrell. All right, so you are a legit cowboy, sir. I don't think I've seen a more legitimate-looking cowboy as I have to do. I mean, fantastic. I swear I've seen you in movies. You're a movie star, right?
I'm not a movie star, but I'm in a lot of movies, and I am a real cowboy.
You are, yeah. It's fantastic. So tell me, what are you doing here at Fort Clark Days today? What's your agenda?
They are doing a special on the Alamo, John Wayne's Alamo.
Yeah, they're showing it today, they're screening it, right?
They're showing it tonight, and it's all about that, plus Texas history. And I'm one of the few left of that movie.
You were actually in the Alamo.
Oh, yeah.
In the movie.
Right.
So if I'm not mistaken, this is like 1960, right?
Yes.
The John Wayne classic filmed in 1960 about the Alamo, and. Yeah, I think they took some liberties as far as like the story, right? But still, classic cinema, obviously. So, what was your role in there? Were you like an extra, or did you have any speaking roles? What did you actually do in the film?
I was Jim Bowie's, one of Jim Bowie's men, and I did have a speaking role, and it was quite hard to get.
Really?
A fella named Big John Hamilton, who's from San Antonio.
Okay.
But he's Big John Wayne friend, and Chill Will's friend. So he'd been in a lot of his movies. Probably 10 at least.
Okay.
Anyway, he has a Big John Steakhouse in San Antonio.
Okay.
And I think that's still there. But I went to Trinity University, athletic scholarship, and we ate there after games from time to time. And so I became a friend of Big John's, who became a Hollywood fellow later.
Right, okay.
But anyway, he had an ice house on Austin Highway, and we used to go there and shoot pool. So we became pretty good friends. But when I did get into the Alamo, I didn't realize, but Big John Hamilton was in it, and he's a big friend of John Wayne's. And so
Right.
anyway, I knew him, he knew me, so I kind of had an in on getting to
Got
hear
the
a lot of
connection.
stuff.
Sure,
Right,
yeah.
right,
It's
so-
knowing people, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So what was it? Was there a casting process, audition, or did you just friend of a friend say, hey, this guy's legit, he's a real cowboy, so bring him on?
Well, they weren't looking for real cowboys in the movies. They'll take anybody that they
Right.
like.
Fits the
and
part,
fits
yeah.
the part,
Sure.
right. But I was coming in from the Oregon Centennial in 1959. It's almost 1960, where we did 10 shows a day. I was with a group that was out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so we did 10 shows a day, and I usually got killed in every show. Got shot off of a roof.
Oh, okay.
once
So
or
one of
twice.
those like
Yeah,
Western
that's- yeah,
reenactment
right,
type things.
right,
Oh, those are
right.
great. Yeah. Fantastic.
So I was leaving from there. That had just ended, and we stopped heading.
No, wait. Well, let me rewind. You were the guy that got shot and fell off the roof.
Yeah.
That's like a classic trope in like Western. There's always that dude, right, that just gets
Right,
shot. And,
right.
So you're a bit of a stuntman, I guess.
Yes, I was.
So how was that? What was the physical strain? Was there a mattress sitting down there? How does that scene play out?
When I first started and I got shot off the roof, over 5,000 times at the Oregon Centennial, because we did 10 shows a day.
Yeah.
I did a World's Fair called Hemisphere in San Antonio in '68. That's 6 months long. We did 6 shows a day.
That's a lot of roofs. That's a lot of falling.
That's right. And I didn't just fall one time each show. I fell over a rail and hit on my back on the overhang. I got up. I was going to shoot the sheriff. He shot me again, and I fall and hit on my back on the overhang, which was wooden, and then I flip over and fall off going to the ground.
I'm amazed
No
you're still
pad.
walking, sir.
No
I'm just amazed you walked over to this table. I mean, are you the lone source of comic relief on that show? I mean, you're the funny guy, huh?
No, that wasn't funny.
Not anymore, eh? That's for sure. So you end up getting a gig in the John Wayne Classic, the Alamo. Give us some good memories. Did you get to meet him yourself? Was there any? What was that like?
Oh, yeah, I got to meet him. He used to come over where we were, all the stunt guys and everybody. And there was a game that Richard Woodmark's slave in the show had made, and everybody likes to play this game. And John Wayne would come down occasionally. He was a star, he was a producer, everything,
Yeah, yeah.
director. So he was pretty busy, but he did take time to come down and play with us guys.
Very
and
cool.
he respects the stuntmen and all the people in the movies, just like he respects his wife or another star.
I would imagine he'd have to, otherwise his job would be a lot more difficult, right?
Right,
Fantastic.
Right. And he wouldn't ask anybody to do something that he hadn't already done himself.
Nice. So when you filmed the movie, it was released. What was that like? How did that impact your life as far as the release of the movie and now, I guess, the historical significance in cinema?
Well, more right now in the last 20 years than back then, because it's such a history thing now.
Right, yeah, for
Where
sure.
back then they didn't even know if it was going to make a hit.
Right. Fantastic. So what do you do as basically a surviving? Because I'm sure there's many of those people that passed on that are in that film. What do you do? A lot of events to maybe speak or tell your story? Is that what you do now?
Yeah, I've done nothing except this business since I did the Alamo.
Wow.
And I've started that, I guess, a year and a half before I did the Alamo. But I met a lot of the people in the business at the Oregon Centennial, because we had people coming through there all the time
Very good.
for the shows. And I met, as soon as the Centennial ended, me and another fellow went to Hollywood. We had an appointment at Warner Bros., I think it was, and I met some people in there. And he said, well, where are y'all going from here? And I said, well, I'm going to San Antonio. I'm going to finish college. I went to college at Trinity University in San Antonio, and I laid out half half of my senior year because of the going to the Oregon Centennial. Because of timing influence. So, but anyway, yeah, I just did this show business. I had a lot of sidelines. I bought and sold jewelry.
Okay.
Out in California, I was doing rock work, mortaring after all the earthquakes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
You gotta, when you're starting especially, you gotta have another job that
You gotta hustle. Yeah, you gotta have a side hustle for sure. So if somebody comes out here today, hears you on the radio, and wants to come out and meet you out here, what are you gonna be doing? What is your role here today at Fort Clark Days? What are you gonna be doing?
Okay, today we were just on the grounds and we have a booth, and I have a John Wayne book with his autograph in it.
I saw that inside. He signed it for you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, right. But anyway, what we're doing right now is talking to people, and we have some little trick ropes that I make that a kid 7, 8, 9, 10 years old can play with it and spin it just like a pro, because it's got a little piece of gadget on there that makes it turn and doesn't tangle up.
So it kind of look like a lasso kind of thing. Yeah, that's fantastic. So now where are you positioned at? Where are you stationed at? I mean, on the radio it's going to be hard to explain, but can you even tell?
It's right at the edge.
It's a big ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big ground. Nobody can miss it.
So will you be there for the screening of the Alamo later today?
Yes, I'm supposed to be having a Q&A session. Part of it, and I'm doing the whole intermission. Talking about
the history of the film. I mean, you were there first person. That's fantastic. All right, so when again is that screening? What time today?
I think we open up at 5:30 and it just goes on till they show the
play the movie and then do the Q&A. Well, that's fantastic. Well, we look forward to that. We'll be done here at noon, so we'll be sure to make our way over there and go see the Alamo. How many times have you watched the Alamo, the film?
I've seen it 3 times. Inside the Alamo complex, where it was made.
Wow!
And I remember one time there was a full moon up there, and I could see it just beautifully. And right behind me was the Alamo.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. What a great way to see it.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're at Fort Clark Days. It's Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville. Y'all come out and see us if you're in Uvalde. It's like a 40-minute drive. We've got lots of food, fun, movie screening of the historic classic film, The Alamo, starring John Wayne back to 1960. And we got one of the players in the film here, sir. What was your name again?
Tommy Worrell.
Tommy Worrell. All right, so very good. Thank you so much for sharing your story. We're looking forward to seeing the Alamo later today, and we're going to get back into some music. Once again, we're live in Brackettville. Here's some Lauren Elena. We are UvaldeRadio.net. UvaldeRadio.net. We are live in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs, right off of Highway 90. If you're heading down 90 west from Uvalde, just hang a left and boom, you are here. I'm here with Cory Brooks. I'm Robert McGill, by the way. I didn't say that. Cory.
Man, this place is hopping. I tell you what, I did not expect this when they were talking about education and meeting some of the folks that live the life. I was not expecting this, but this is fantastic. We're meeting people from the movies with John Wayne. We're meeting Native Americans like Apaches and Comanches, and I mean, this is incredible.
And there's live music for the groupie in you out there, man.
Yes.
So we talked to Phil from Country Horizons. He said he was going to open up with some Folsom Prison Blues, and they did it.
Here
just
we
that.
are.
So we heard some Johnny Cash live. Let's go ahead and not talk for a minute. Let the band play for a minute. Well, there you go, some live music. Yeah,
They're
good stuff.
pretty
So
good.
live music going on. They're playing until noon today. There's more music to come. There's going to be a spoken word thing apparently as well, and a lot of ways to learn, but still have a good time. So everybody coming out here. What else have you gotten into since I've been on the air talking to people?
Goodness, I've been running around taking pictures, so go to our Facebook page because we're posting pictures as fast as we can.
Yes.
We've got Facebook Live going on. This is exciting. And if you ever hear any big noises, that's the cannon fires that they're randomly doing.
I'm literally mic shy because of those cannons. I'm like, I didn't realize I was like PTSD, and not to make that term lightly, but I'm just saying it's scary.
It's scary,
yeah. So a lot of cool stuff, and I'm seeing more kids come out here, so that is fantastic.
There's games right next door to us, like carnival games. It's dart throwing, balloons.
And of course, there's food, lots of food, man. So bring your appetite, bring your checkbook. They're selling art out here as well too. We're gonna get back into some music, and we'll talk to some more of the vendors and historians out here. We got the Bexar County Buffalo Rainbow Soldiers coming up pretty soon, and looks like Wandering Cats, and Uvalde has Wandering Dogs. Luckily, we're passing legislation in town to make that. Well, there's
we got
plenty of
somebody
cats as well,
coming
too.
up.
All right, y'all gonna have to get in line. All right, so we're gonna get back into some music. Let's see, we're gonna do some Luke Bryan here. We're live in Brackettville, Texas, and we are UvaldeRadio.net. UvaldeRadio.net. We are live in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs. Go to FortClarkDays.org for more information about today's events. They are live, up and running until 5 p.m. today. You still got plenty of time to make a day of it. Bring the family out for a fantastic day. Country Horizons Band is on stage right now. They're playing until at least noon. There's some other great stuff coming. And look for the Uvalde Radio broadcast tent. We are right in front of the food court because you know what? Look at me. I mean, come on. I'm a big guy. I got to be behind the food. So y'all come and find us out here. Grab a koozie or a bumper sticker and register for some prizes. And we're just going to have a rotating, revolving door of guests here, as many as we can fit in today. Right now, I've got with me Megan from Wandering Cats. So I've got to say, I'm jealous of your logo. So Megan, welcome. How you doing?
Thank you.
So thanks for being patient. I know it's been kind of crazy here today. We're talking to a lot of different people. But what are you guys doing here? You guys a vendor? Have a tent? What's going on?
Yes, so we have a booth in front of the service center, and we've got, all the information about our organization, T-shirts, all that kind of stuff.
So you guys are like animal service, and you go ahead and tell me what your mission is.
So we spay and neuter feral and community cats in Kinney County.
Okay.
So we actually trap them, have them spayed or neutered, vaccinated.
Now this is cat specific, only cats.
Only cats.
Wow,
yes.
cool.
And then we return them back to their colony.
Wow, fantastic. So is there kind of an issue, a problem with cats in this area?
Yes. So far we started in November of 21, and we've spayed or neutered over 200 cats.
Oh my lordy.
Yes, and there is probably thousands more to go.
Those cats like to stay busy, I'm telling you what, man. So, and like I alluded to earlier, Uvalde, we've got a big problem with dogs, but cats as well too. But I'm sure you're familiar with, we've got our Humane Society, which is now the
Yes.
Briscoe something center. They changed their name, and then we got Flights to Forever and some other programs. So it's good to see that here, our hometown, Uvalde County, is finally making steps to actually to do some really good things to kind of curtail some of those
Yes.
problems. Is that an issue here in Kinney County that you guys are kind of fighting against or working?
Yeah, there's dogs and cats problems, but what seemed attainable to us was spay or neuter. We don't really have the resources to rescue, but we can spay or neuter as many as we can.
So you guys have been around since 2021, you said.
Yes, we formed beginning of 2021.
How long have you been with the organization?
I'm the founder.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yes.
So what led you to start this up? Is it just a passion? Are you trained in veterinarians? What's your?
I've always loved working with animals. I worked with an animal rescue where I used to live, and I saw all that was going on, and I wanted to do something, and I kind of discovered TNR, Trap Neuter Return, and I thought, why not? So I just started emailing other organizations and seeing what information I could get and start.
So explain to me how that Trap Neuter Return, how does it look like in real life? I mean, obviously we kind of understand the concept, but realistically, trapping, taking something back, fixing it, and then releasing it back. What is your average day, or do you do this actively? Are you participating like that?
Yes, so we work with two different clinics. We work with one in Bernie that's a high volume spay and neuter clinic, and then another clinic in Eagle Pass. So each week we are allowed 5 appointment spots.
Okay.
So we work with, we call them our colony feeders. They're the ones who generally feed the cats. And so we'll go in, we trap 5, take them to the clinic, and then they come back and recover with us for about a day, and then they go back home.
Is there ever potential for you guys to up that volume and increase? Because that sounds like you stay busy, but I'm sure there's a lot more work to be done.
Yes, we hope to eventually. I would love to eventually maybe get a mobile spay and neuter clinic
Okay,
here. It's
yeah.
Just getting more accessibility for those services.
Very cool. So if somebody would like to help out or get involved, you have a website, Facebook, social media, to point us in a direction of where we can find out more.
So you can find us on www.wanderingcats.org. You can email us at info@wanderingcats.org. We're on Instagram at wanderingcatstnr, and then we're also on Facebook for Wandering Cats. So you can contact us anywhere.
Now, I see a little slogan on your business card here: "Stop the breeding, not the feeding." Explain that, because that's kind of cool.
So stopping the feeding doesn't really fix the problem, because
Right.
those cats are just going to get into the trash. They're going to find any food source possible.
For sure, yeah.
So we want to be able to help people so that these people genuinely want to take care of these cats, but they don't want them reproducing at the rapid rate that they do.
Right.
So we want to help, and it makes them healthier, and we get them all vaccinated and everything. So
Very good. Again, so find them at Wandering Cats. That's NR for Instagram, Facebook Wandering Cats, and the email is info@wanderingcats.org. Obviously, the website is wanderingcats.org. So you're here at Fort Clark Days. Is this your first time to be at one of these, or have you been here before?
no, we had a booth here last year as well. Yeah.
So what do you love about this festival?
I love the kind of small town feel of the festival. I've never been to something like this before. I think it's such an immersive, fun experience. I really love coming.
The cannons were awesome, but that kid with that pop gun is making me crazy too. I'm like freaking out over here. I'm like, wait, what's going on? So now, where are you guys located? Can I see where you guys situated from here, or where are you at?
We are right across in front of the service club. Right when you come on the fort, there's a group of other nonprofit booths, and that's where we're at.
Now, if somebody were to stop by your booth area, what can they learn? Is there materials, a pamphlet? What do you guys do for people?
We've got all kinds of pamphlets on information on what we do, what TNR is, how it all works. We've got T-shirts for sale. We've got some really cool wood burn coasters. We actually have a benefit golf tournament coming up in a couple months.
Give us some information about that real quick.
It's April 22nd at the Fort Clark Springs Golf Course. It's a 4-man team, and we're raising money to spay and neuter cats. So we've got sign-up sheets there, and it should be a really, really fun time.
Now, for those who are interested in like how those funds go, what are some of the more expensive, or I guess the money? Tell me, why you need the funding so badly. I'm sure it's more expensive than it seems.
Yeah, we pay per cat to have them spayed and neutered. So it generally runs anywhere between $60 to $100 per cat.
Yeah.
So we try and spend as much as we can on vet bills.
Very good. So yeah, getting involved in that golf tournament or buy a T-shirt, I'm sure all the proceeds go to help your cause. Well, very good. Again, it's wanderingcats.org. Megan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Y'all stop by and see them when you come over here to Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. And again, we're UvalleRadio.net. Going to do some more. So we can talk some more guests. So y'all stick around. UvalleRadio.net. We are live. Hey, my name is Robert Miguel. We are live in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs in beautiful Brackettville. Again, 40 miles west of Uvalde. Just to hang down 90 towards the border. And actually take a left when you get into Brackettville in Fort Clark Springs. And it's such a great time. There's so much going on. So many people to talk to. We are here live until at least noon. We might even stick around a little later on the air because there's lots of stuff to do. So live music going on. And that's the Country Horizons band. We are right by the feeding station where there's a food court, lots of food, which I'm going to delve into when lunchtime approaches. But there's a lot of living historians, and some of the big stars here are the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Man, so it is good to have you guys here. You guys are all decked out in your cool uniforms.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers, obviously based out of Bexar County.
Yes, sir.
And what is your name and what is your role within the organization?
My name is Charles Batiste, and I represent Augusta Wiley, one of the only 2-time Medal of Honor recipients of the Buffalo Soldiers.
Wow, very cool. So let's go ahead now. Now I've learned about the Buffalo Soldiers in history class and whatnot, but that's been a few years. Give me the I guess the Cliff Notes version of Buffalo Soldiers and their historical significance and who they were.
Buffalo Soldiers, they were formed in 1866 during the Indian War periods.
Okay.
So it was 4 black regiments, the 24th, the 25th, the 9th, and the 10th,
okay,
which all came through Brackettville at one time and did basic here.
That's so cool.
And
wow,
one of the most amazing things about Brackettville, 4 of the Indian Scout Seminoles are actually buried in Brackettville Cemetery, and 2 of them are brothers, the Payne brothers.
Wow.
The Medal of Honor recipients, 2 of them are brothers. Yes, sir.
So that's fantastic.
Yes,
so now is that part of your lineage, your heritage? Is that why you're in the organization?
Yes, sir. We are not reenactors. We usually go around and we just spread the history of the Buffalo Soldiers that pretty much was left out of American history. And we go around all over Texas and spread the history of the organization.
Now, how long have you been involved with the Buffalo Soldiers?
Actually, this is going on maybe my first year.
First year,
I'm
wow.
one of the newer members of the Buffalo
Very
Soldiers.
good.
Yes,
so now I think it's no surprise that there has actually been major films made recently about Buffalo Soldiers. So let's talk about Buffalo Soldiers in film. Have you watched any of those movies?
I watch a lot of documentaries
Okay,
on the Buffalo Soldiers. And I read up on them.
Now the ones that are Hollywood made, are they pretty fact based, or are they a little bit more sensationalized?
No, they're pretty fact-based. At least the documentaries that I've watched, it came across are fact-based.
Very good, very
Yes,
good.
yes.
All right. So what got you into this? You just found out that you had relatives in the bloodline, or it's just something interesting that you wanted to delve into?
Well, for me personally, it was a thing of a history that I didn't know about. And being an African-American male, and Buffalo Soldier was a large part of the American history that was left out.
Right.
And I just was inspired just to be a part of the organization to spread the history that was left out.
So as far as the organization goes, what does that entail? Do you go to weekly, monthly meetings, events like this?
We do school functions.
Okay.
We even went to the FBI a couple of weeks ago and did a presentation for them. We go to churches. We was honored at the rodeo in San Antonio. We basically go all over. Anybody that needs us to come and welcome us, we'll go and participate in their functions.
So give me a quick like a quick bullet list of some of the more interesting facts that most people might not know about the Buffalo Soldiers.
Well, they got their nickname. They got the name Buffalo Soldiers because of the buffalo for a bunch of reasons. Number one, the Indians held the buffalo in the most highest regard.
Right.
So, the wool on the African American's head, that was one of the reasons they named them Buffalo Soldiers. At first, they thought it was an insult until they found out that the Indians held the buffalo in such high regard, then they honored the name.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very cool, man.
Yes.
I'm learning something. That's so much to learn out here today. So now, where are you guys? You guys have a tent? Are you guys in a building? Where can people find the Buffalo Soldiers here on grounds at Fort Clark
We are
Days?
located right across from the museum. We are set up with all our artifacts and everything. Right across from the museum here on the grounds.
So give me an idea. It's radio, so they can't see them, but I want them to go check them out. What kind of artifacts do you guys have on hand here on site?
We have just about everything the Buffalo Soldiers use, from their saddle to the equipment they use to eat, guns, brush their teeth, just about everything they use when they're out. What they use to feed their horses.
Wow.
All of those type of things. What they use for entertainment. We got all those type of things on how they cook their food, stoves and all that. We got just all the artifacts they use when it was in the Indian War period.
Now, how many Buffalo Soldiers are on site here in your party today? How many guys you got with you?
It's 9 of us
Wow,
today.
very cool. And you're all decked out in the regalia and everything.
Yes,
so
sir.
you got the blue uniforms and then the yellow kerchiefs. You know, I never realized this. I never put this together, but I was a Boy Scout. Boy Scouts are very. The uniform is very influenced by the Buffalo Soldiers, apparently. So that's kind of an interesting thing.
Yes,
any other, I guess, as far as Bear County Buffalo Soldiers, do you guys have a Facebook page or a website or anything?
Yes, we have a Facebook page. Yes, sir.
All right, find them on Facebook. Oh, I'm looking at the card here.
Yes, sir.
There is a website at www.bcbsatx.com. So that's BCBS for Bear County Buffalo Soldiers, TX.com. So very cool. Y'all find them online. Find them on is it just Bear County Buffalo Soldiers on Facebook?
Yes,
Check
sir.
that in, find it?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So we'll post photos. We'll tag you guys. And thank you so much for spending some time, man.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
All right, again, we're at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. We're at UvaldeRadio.net. We are live throughout the afternoon until at least noon. We're probably going to go a little bit later. Let me get back into some music. I don't think I've even picked a song yet to play. I've been kind of going nonstop, so I'm going to go ahead and find one right here and put it. We are UvaldeRadio.net live in Brackettville, Texas. UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, I'm Robert Miguel. Good morning. We are live in Brackettville, Texas, Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs. Having a blast so far. I'm going to take a break from the table. I've been broadcasting live here, talking to a lot of great guests, but I need to get out there. Cory's having all the fun. She's out there talking to people, taking photos. And matter of fact, we've got a lot of photos we've already posted on our Facebook page. If you're listening at home, you're going, it sounds fun, but I ain't sold yet. Go online, facebook.com, find Uvalde Radio. We got a lot of photos so far from this morning's events, and we're going to keep on going. Also, Instagram, also Uvalde Radio as well. So I've been talking to a lot of cool people. We are right here in front of the band. Man, they just did some Texas tornadoes. That was good. And we got we're also real close to the food court, which I'm gonna get in on that real soon. But again, a lot of guests we're talking to, and this one's I'm really excited about because all my life people have been telling me I look like a Native American, et cetera, et cetera. But with me from the Lipan Apaches.
Yes, that's correct.
I've got Mr. Richard A. Gonzalez. Welcome to the program, sir.
Right, thank you.
Good morning. Now you are a legit looking Native American, sir. I mean,
Well, thank you very
from
much.
head to toe.
Well, thank you very much, and we dress appropriately for the period. And we started doing this after I retired about 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I was doing a lot of the family research around with a lot of the family and stuff, and asking a lot of the questions about the grandparents' history and the great, and on and on, the genealogy type stuff. And then a lot of it was all pointing to us, you know, because we didn't grow up with the culture of Lipan Apache. We were just Texans and Americans, etc.
Yeah, like Mexican American kind of. It feels like that. I mean, have you always known you were Native American, or with the name Gonzalez, you also kind of have that Mexican kind of influence as well too, right?
No, it was actually 1962 when I was in 8th grade, when my grandmother, I was walking by her house, and she says, "Go home and get your mom and bring your camera." So we went to a grandma's house, and we didn't know what to expect. My mom knew nothing. Nobody in the family knew nothing. So my grandmother, you know, when we opened the door, was dressed in an Apache camp dress.
Oh, wow.
And so we were kind of taken aback a little bit. Well, you know, that's cool. You know, she's wearing this, but explained that her mom had showed her how to make that kind of dress in 1900, and her mom had run everybody out of the house and to explain everything to her, just her. And after she had shown her how to make it, how to use it, how important it was, she'd never forget how, you know, it was made. She went outside the house and burned the dress, and then told her to promise her never to tell her brothers or her sisters or nobody until she had died. And then she said, "Sit down, I'm going to tell you why." And she started telling her still a lot of stories, but once she started out with one of the stories, and that actually relates to from here in Fort Clark and Fort Duncan in Eagle Pass. And in 1873, when a lot of our families were living actually at that point in Remolino, which is right across the border here, about 40 miles from here, she says just at dawn on May 18th, 1873, she remembered it as El Día de los Gritos, the day of the screams, because that's what's burned in her mind, her grandmother's mind.
Sure.
And so her grandmother, or my great-grandmother, told her that as a young child, maybe around 7, 8 years old, the soldiers had come just at the crack of dawn. And the men had left to go hunting, and Colonel McKenzie from here at Fort Clark, which one of these streets right here is named McKenzie after him, took 400 soldiers there from Fort Clark and Fort Duncan, where the order was to kill everybody and leave nothing but ashes.
Oh, my Lord.
And so, you know, and going back to the founding of Texas, and when Texas became a state in the United States, the agreement, one of the agreements is to becoming a state was that the United States government will be responsible for removing all Indians from Texas, and that all the land within boundaries of Texas would remain private property. And so with that idea, when they went into Remolino, and my great-grandmother was there, and anyway, so the raid started. They started shooting and starting fires. The men had left camp to go hunting, so there were very few men in camp. Anyway, so the women started screaming, and so she takes a 1.5-year-old baby and jumps in a hole along the river there, covers themselves with a bush, and there they hid, you know, until the soldiers were calmed down. They had burned a lot of, and they were tying women and children onto horses to take them away as prisoners.
Right.
So before the soldiers left, her little brother started to cry. So she couldn't keep, he doesn't know, he's a baby. And so the soldier came and found him. She sees his boots right outside the holder hide and gives them order, like, come out, but they're not going to come out. So he takes his saber out and stabs into the bush and caught her little brother, starts screaming and squirming around. So he does that again until he finishes him off. He killed him. So then the soldier walks away, but then comes back. And he probes the bush 2 more times with a saber and caught my great-grandmother on the shoulder and the top of her hand. But she stayed quiet. The soldier then turns around and walks away, and eventually they all leave. My grandmother turns to us and says, "What does that make you feel like? You need to tell me." And so my mom could not speak. This is the first time in her life she's ever had anything told to her about her family history. And my grandmother was right in my face and said, "You need to tell me what you feel like." And I said, first thing that came to my mind was angry. Why would the soldiers kill a baby? My grandmother immediately responded, "No. You respect the soldiers, but who's going to remember your great-grandmother, a 7-year-old girl? If she'd have made one sound, you wouldn't be sitting here today. Never forget her." Well, we've never forgot her, obviously, and she lived on. All the stories continued after that. So in my process was, you know, I wonder, and I was just a young boy then, but at the time I worked a career, had a career like everybody else. I was a policeman in San Jose, California for 31 years. When I retired, well, I know how to go research and pull, you know, answers. And so I went to, came here to Fort Clark and asked about on May 18th, 1817, you have any history on that? And then immediately they say, oh yeah, that's Mackenzie's raid. That's a day that General Sheridan had ordered the soldiers to go into Mexico, along with the Buffalo Soldiers, and all the soldiers that were here. Anyway, they went on there on horseback. And so I was learning more about it from a different perspective, because I had heard my grandmother, but I wanted to confirm that. So I went to Fort Worth. I went to Waco with the Texas Rangers, also to Washington, D.C., and where a lot of the records exist. And, of course, nowadays you can pull a lot of records online. Mm-hmm. And so with that, yeah, all of it matched up with my grandmother's stories. Not only one great-grandmother, but both my great-grandmothers. Wow. I had the same similar stories at different places here around Texas and Mexico, and those stories all matched up. So our history goes beyond this Fort Clark, beyond Texas, beyond Mexico, beyond Spain, beyond all this, and our history goes back, before any settlers had come here. And reflecting back, during a lot of course of the history for many hundreds of years, their goal was either to control us or to eliminate us. Mm-hmm. And not just us, but a lot of indigenous, for instance, here in Texas, there's only 3 federally recognized Indian tribes, and none of them are from Texas. Interesting. So where are the Indians in Texas? Well, here not too long ago, the governor of Texas proclaimed on television, there ain't no Indians in Texas. Well, guess what? Here we are. So we went there. So I've taken on a mission along with a lot of other families to educate, first of all, our own selves, and then our communities. And so we started coming here about 14, 15 years ago. Wow, okay. And so we have teepees set up out here, kind of in the middle of all this historical area out here. So we have a lot of artifacts as well that present a lot of metates that are passed on by my great-grandmother. I don't leave them locked up in a closet at home. I bring them so people can see them and the kids can go hands-on.
Share that, yes, absolutely.
And a lot of stuff that we have, pictures, documents. So we want people to find their history. Yeah. And so we teach people how to find it and where to find it, their own personal history. And a lot of it is going to be in your houses, at home. Your grandparents.
Got to do some digging. Got to ask some questions. Yeah.
Ask your grandparents to tell you about their grandparents, and you really get back into history, orally wise. But in confirming all that information through documentation, etc., is become my mission to do it. So we've been doing that and showing other people how to do it as well. Not just Apaches, but everybody. Right. We have Jicarillas, Comanches, and White Mountain Apaches here. They'll be dancing about after lunchtime, so they'll be out here in front of our teepees dancing. Those are first cultural dances that we have. They're the most important dances for our Apache people because they do it for girls, and because girls essentially are our leaders, and most people think, well, it's the warriors, the men, the Geronimos, all those chiefs, and they're leaders too. But there are other ones that are actually higher in hierarchy within our culture, and those are our women.
Interesting. I thought you meant at first like to pick up girls. Like, yeah, cool. But
well, that's cool too. And I was telling somebody yesterday, a historian over here, about they said, well, the teepee was kind of small, the family wouldn't fit, etc. I said, no, the family will fit. And we have visitors that come, the family, whatever. The men would always sleep outside. The women are only allowed inside. Hey, men sleep outside.
I hate to interrupt you, but speaking of the teepee, I know we had a bunch of wind. I heard was that one of your big teepees that got blown away?
One of the first teepees we started bringing. It's been out in the sun for a while, so it started getting weak, and it went down. So, but we have others, and so we just we didn't lose any steps. We just keep going, and there's other ways of presenting our history, because it's not actually just. And the teepee was a large one because I take it to a lot of schools and I get a lot of kids in there. Right. And this one's a little smaller, but we're a little bit more cozy, and it still works.
Now that's got to be a lot of work, setting that up and getting it to.
For instance, as an example, I took it to Camp Wood down the road over here, and had fourth grade class set it up with the grandmas and the teacher, and the men could stand around and keep track of time.
Wow.
It took them 15 minutes.
Well, really?
I didn't touch nothing.
I need to get that class to set up our broadcast tent. We're always shrinking with this thing, so fantastic.
But that process was that way because, and I learned it from traditional people, and so, but we need to pass that on. Yeah. And so, because we were semi-nomadic, so we moved a lot. And so it's like getting your RV and driving on. So, you can't have a lot of stuff. It's got to be inside. Anyway, with that idea in mind, so because we wouldn't didn't want to deplete our food resources. And so we would live here, move over like the Camp Food area, and then on, and everything was done on foot before the Spanish influence. But then, with the access of the horses, then it made it more possible. It extended our area of influence.
It's so cool that you guys, have roots here in this area. It's not a story that's told too often. So that's fantastic. Again, we've been talking here to Richard A. Gonzalez from Lipan Apache here in Texas. Is there a resource, like a website or a Facebook page or any place you guys can we can find more information from?
Yes,
what you guys are
we're
up to?
on Facebook.
Okay.
And that's probably the easiest way because we always check on it and update it with photos and different things that we do in places we go.
So what do we type in to find you guys on Facebook? Just Lipan Apache?
Lipan Apache Band of Texas.
Okay.
And we'll be there. And we're based out of here, but we actually, in a few months, we'll be in California. Okay. And here in a couple of weeks, we'll be in Louisiana. So we travel around and visit a lot of other folks and set up and also, like I said, learn and teach what we have learned. And a lot of it is because one of the things we've learned is that, and in learning and being a history buff myself, and one of my college professors always, before you even introduce yourself, kind of introduce the classes, the one thing we would learn in this class, if we learn nothing else, is that history teaches us we don't learn. He said, if I could reach one student not to repeat the same mistakes as mankind around the world has made the same mistakes over and over, even though we have examples over and over of not to do certain things, if I can just reach one, he says, I've been a success.
Yeah, no,
and I remember
totally,
thinking, I'll be that one.
Well, you have taught us a lot already here in just this conversation, and we're celebrating history, and it's really easy to get caught up in the fun part of it, but again, reminding us of the darker side of war and, of territorial, battles and whatnot. We really appreciate you sharing your story. It's fantastic.
Thank you for having me, and it's good to be here.
And once again, give me details on where, if people are listening at home, they want to come see you, where can they find you, and what is your activity schedule?
Driving right into Fort Clark, you come into the gate, and our teepees, we'll have 2 teepees up, and they're almost in the middle of this historian area, and they're pretty obvious because they're distinctively different than everybody else's.
Right?
Yes.
Well, very cool. I hope everybody goes to see you guys, and again, find them, Lipan Apache Band of Texas on Facebook, and kind of follow their journey, their story. So, Mr. Gonzalez, thanks again for joining us here. We're going to get back into some music. Once again, we're at Fort Clark Days in Brackettville, Texas. If you'd like more general information about the event, go to fortclarkdays.org. Let's go and do some Zach Brown Band. We are UvaldeRadio.net live in Brackettville. Right, UvaldeRadio.net. Robert Miguel here this morning, live on a Saturday morning remote on a beautiful day in Brackettville, Texas. We are at Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, just about 40 miles west of Uvalde on Highway 90. And wow, this is just kind of like a hidden gem that I had no idea that this was going to be so cool, Cory.
This is the coolest thing, and the weather couldn't be. I mean, we've got a nice little breeze. The sky is blue.
That is the bluest sky I think I've seen in this year easily.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. I've been running around taking pictures of all these great costumes.
Just 2 days, it was like the hugest, crazy Chicago windstorm, you know what I mean? And now it's just the perfect weather here in Southwest Texas. So, Cory, let's go and talk about your escapades out there, because I've been kind of holding it down here in Mission Control, playing the music. But you've been taking some great photos, which I'm about to post a whole big round of your photos, which is great job. You got a great eye today.
Thank you. I did tell you I was going to leave you here and go have all the fun,
you said
didn't
that.
I?
I thought you were just kind of being funny or sarcastic or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna make. I just found out there is beer on tap here.
I took a picture of the taps for you.
We're gonna actually post a photo of the beer taps here at Fort Clark Days here. So get ready to go check out our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com and then find Uvalde Radio, and boom, you're gonna have lots of photos from the event. It's gonna be a great time. So go and tell us. Go ahead and give me a little idea of what you've been up to since the last time we checked in.
The most fun, I think, I found the camels for you, so you'll have to go check those out. But the most fun I've had is not only are these people dressed in costumes, but they actually are people who lived wearing those clothes, and they're not just costumes.
Wow, yeah.
It's fantastic.
They're all kind of invested in this lifestyle, this history, whether it's direct lineage or just a really passionate interest. I mean, there's people that really care about this cause and this history. So it really is kind of cool to see, even just interviewing people. We're doing radio, but seeing their eyes light up when they're telling their stories, and it's really kind of cool.
And what stories, man! Holy cow.
Now I know that you talked to somebody. You went to like a cooking place, little corner. I saw a little photo. What's going on with the guy firing up some?
That is the coolest thing. So they're actually doing it the old way.
Yeah.
They have a little concrete area, and they just built the fire right in the corner of the area and have it just up against the wall. It's just on the ground up against the wall. It's so cool.
Just a fire, yeah.
Just a fire pit.
Yeah, doing it the way you can do it. You know, it's nuts. So, speaking of that, there's plenty of food. Look, the food court's pretty full up now.
Food court, yes.
We did good by picking this spot. So there are lots of kids out there enjoying food. I'm looking at Indian tacos. I didn't know that was a thing. I think I'm going to try the Indian tacos.
I'm going to try those too.
We got to do that. Some kettle corn over there, ribbon fries, corn dogs. Let's see here. I see hamburgers on the picture. Sweet tea, strawberry
barbecue,
lemonade, funnel cakes, all kinds of good. Barbecue over there.
Yes.
Dedicated barbecue trailer. So lots to eat, and obviously there's beers too.
Yes, and the gentleman that you were talking to, the Native American guy.
Yes, yeah.
He told me that later this evening, they actually are going to cook buffalo.
Buffalo.
And they're going to serve buffalo.
Hope it's not a buffalo soldier.
No,
Okay.
because they were here too. They're here too. No,
Yeah.
it's actually, and he.
And I'm
even
not sure
has-
if they get along.
I don't know. They were next to each other for a little while waiting in line, but they actually have a buffalo ranch, and so it's their own buffalo that they've raised, and they're going to be serving buffalo.
Man, that's
later
fantastic.
Today.
Yeah, so buffalo wings, that's not a real thing. That's not
No.
real buffalo. There's going to be some real buffalo up and down here. So, again, we are live in Brackettville, Texas, Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs. Again, if you're in Uvalde, just 35-40 minutes to the west, just hang a left, and we're on the big sign that says Fort Clark Springs, right?
Yes.
And then, boom, you can't miss it. Look for the teepees. There's flags, there's live music, and stop by the Uvalde Radio tent and grab a sticker or a koozie. And, Cory, thanks for all the great work you're doing so
I'm
far.
having a blast, and we still have to go check out the swimming pool. They keep telling us about this swimming pool.
So, yeah, what's going on with swimming pool? What's
I
happening
don't
there? It's
know.
just a swimming pool.
We have to go check it out.
So, yeah, we got to check that out. Meanwhile, since we brought up beer, and I'm going to go get a cold one here in a moment. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
It is somewhere,
But
yes.
we're going to do some, we're going to send this out to my dad. I think he's on the way out here.
They
This
are.
is his favorite Toby Keith song, Little Red Solo Cup, get you in the drinking mood. As you're coming out here to 4 o'clock days, we are UvaldeRadio.net. UvaldeRadio.net. We are live in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days here at Fort Clark Springs. And again, if you are listening at home, man, come out and see us. We are just off Highway 90, about 40 miles west of Uvalde. Not even that. It took us less than 40 minutes to get here. And we are so glad we did. A little bit of a road trip for Uvalde on the road. Yeah, we're out here representing Uvalde Radio in Brackettville. So this is actually, what county is this again? This is Kinney. Kinney County? Yeah, I think so. So, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it's Kinney County. It's a K. I know it's a K of some kind.
So, Cory, you've made the rounds. What else have we not talked about yet that you've had the chance to go see?
Who else is here? Border Patrol is here. They've got a couple mounted Border Patrol gentlemen running around.
We look forward to meeting them again on the way back to Uvalde.
Yes, we'll probably see many, maybe not mounted, but
Right.
we'll see them, I'm sure. Who else? Gosh, the Camels. Oh, there's a group of guys down there. I took a picture of them. They were all in uniform. It was a really cool picture. I can't remember which ones they
Are
were.
they the
but
gray uniforms?
The blue.
The blue, okay.
They're blue.
Interesting. So what blue is what? Union or what? How does that history? I spent a long time.
I'm not good.
Wasn't there a show, The Blue and the Gray? Remember where you could tell which was who?
I think I slept through history class, but bad me.
I didn't sleep through it. I learned it all, but that was many years ago. I've forgotten it all too. But anyway, come over here.
Who is that? There's their picture. Maybe it's Red Cross. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that looks like some kind of emergency service or something like that. They might be the medic. I thought you meant like a uniform, like a military uniform. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that a Confederate?
It looks Confederate to me.
It looks Confederate to me.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, come over here and don't take it from us. We don't know anything. We're just talking heads.
But they're good looking.
Oh, is that what we're getting at? Okay.
Okay, so this guy
You
right
just like
here, he got a pretty smile.
Cory likes a man in uniform. All right. So now we know what she likes. All right? She likes the rock and roll guys and the men in uniform. So
Yep.
all right. So come on out here, guys. Meet Cory, and maybe you'll get a koozie, a bumper sticker, maybe you get Cory's number. Who knows?
I'll give you a hug.
Very nice. So again, the food. There's a whole bunch going on here. We talked about the Indian tacos. I'm intrigued to say the least. And I still haven't got my beer. I'm gonna get a beer here.
Go get a beer.
I gotta figure out if they take cash, PayPal, credit cards, whatnot. But we're gonna get in on that. So There is beer. I don't think there's any liquor, but let's go and do tequila little time. Let's do some John Party, get back into some music. We're going to probably have some more guests on here in a bit and take some more photos, so please check out our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com, find Uvalde Radio, or just get on the app and search Uvalde Radio that way. So, again, anything else that what should we pursue?
I'm going to go get pictures of the cannons.
We got to find the cannons. Okay?
I got to find the cannons.
That's our next thing, and keep listening. We're on UvaldeRadio.net live in Brackettville, Texas. UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, it's Robert Miguel. Good morning, man. It feels like it's already well into the afternoon. We're in Brackettville, Texas, Fort Clark Springs for Fort Clark Days, a living history festival. There's so much to do, so much to learn. Man, a lot of great photo opportunities. So bring the kids, bring the grandparents. Everybody's going to have a good time. If you want a basic overview of what's happening, go to FortClarkDays.org. Man, the Country Horizon Band is just kicking it, man.
They're really good.
They're doing a lot of George Strait classic country. They're doing some more Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, yep. They're good, though.
So
really
yeah,
good.
Great live music. And there's a little gentleman, look at that guy over there with the washboard and the guitar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn how to play the washboard.
You don't know how to play the washboard already?
No.
Come on, you're a woman.
No, I don't do laundry.
Well, hey, man, this is old school. Where you gotta do? Come on, woman. Know your place.
Fun stuff.
All right. So, no, there's. I guess they're gonna alternate. Maybe when they're done, maybe they'll start playing. Or are they just kind of doing? Are they teaching, or what's going on there?
So after the Country Horizons, they're going to do the Indian dancing.
Okay.
So that'll be taking place around noon, I guess, 12:30. And then after that, then they're going to try and get some music in over there with the washboard and the guitar.
Wow, cool. I'm looking forward to that. That's awesome. Yeah, so bring your laundry and make a day of it. So, again, we're in Fort Clark Days here in Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville. And come on out here. The event's going on until 5 p.m. They have got food and drink and live music and lots to learn. So we still haven't got that beer. I'm trying to get a beer.
No, you got to bring cash, though, apparently, because... Yeah. There's not a lot of credit card taken around here.
So I think I've got enough. I'm not much of a cash guy. Usually my daughter has the cash, and she's not here with me today. But I think I've got enough to maybe buy one beer. Like I said, I want to be a renegade and say I had a beer before noon. I mean, when you get old, that doesn't happen.
No, but this is old school. Maybe they'll do trade.
Right. I think I've got some pelts in the car waiting. You know what I mean? And. They'll take those, some livestock, whatever I can get just to get a nice
cow.
I just want a Coors Light, man. How much did I take here? But yeah, come on out here. Yeah, buy, sell, trade. It's like the old days. It's literally living history. And they're gonna hand me some really weird, nasty beer.
I bet they will.
Some period beer. But come on out here and have a good time. Yes, there is some adult beverages out here and lots of food. We're gonna get our food on here pretty soon. But meanwhile, we'll just get back into music. If you're kind of on the fence about coming out here, again, go to the website FortClarkDays.org. See what you get there. But really, the photos and information doesn't even do it justice. Find our Facebook page. We got a lot of great photos, and I think that does a little bit better. So
yes,
good job on you, Cory, making the rounds, taking the photos, and we're gonna see if we can get some more guests on the air.
Yes.
It's kind of getting busy. I think we're just kind of in busy mode now. So maybe the guests will be a little harder to come by, but we still got a little bit of time left on this broadcast. I've still got time to get a beer. Let's do some music by Jordan Davis. We are UvaldeRadio.net live in Brackettville. UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, it's Robert Miguel. We are live at Fort Clark Days, Brackettville, Texas, just about 40 miles west of Uvalde. Just hang it west on 90, then take a left to get in here to the grounds. Look for the teepees, the flags, the camels, and maybe even a cannon. And just have a good time out here. Again, Fort Clark Days. It kicked off yesterday, 8 to 5. It was student day. The kids all came out here and did a lot of learning, had a good time. There was a street dance last night. Apparently went over very well. And now we are broadcasting live this fine Saturday morning here till at least noon. We're supposed to cut off our broadcast at noon, but I think we might go a little longer because there's so much to see, so much to do, and so many people to talk to as well. Hope you've enjoyed some of our feature interviews with some of these historians and sponsors and vendors as well too. Shout out to Christina Bitter and also Annabelle McNew for our contacts here with Fort Clark Days. And Cory, you got any sponsors? I know that there's a whole bunch of other organizations that kind of help put this together. If you don't have them, we can do them later.
I do. A ton of people just helped with this, and it is a great event. DKM Enterprises, Union Pacific, AEP, Texas, United Medical Centers, First State Bank of Uvalde, also. Harbor Retail Services, the Ward family, in honoring Sherry Ward Blocker. Let me see, who else? FCSA, RV Park, and Breakfast Community. There's just been a ton of vendors.
All right, so those are some of the sponsors
Or sponsors,
that
sorry.
put together some money to fund this thing. But we're having a good time out here. So y'all come out and see us again. The event goes till 5 p.m. Bring the family, bring everybody. I think is it pet friendly? It seems like it is.
It
right?
is. I've
I
seen
think
a few dogs
I mean, they
around.
got camels around here, right? So it should
We got
be all right.
camels, we can have
camels and
dogs.
horses, right? So come on out here and speaking of, we talked to that lady, the cat lady, as I like to call her, Megan from Wandering Cats. That's pretty cool. If you missed our interview, we're gonna post that up later. But we're gonna have a interview audio in podcast form for all the people we spoke to. So get ready to go to uvaldyradio.net/events, or just go to uvaldyradio.net and hit the interviews, the interviews tab.
Interviews tab. Yes.
And so what else are we missing, Cory? What else we got to get into?
I got to get back up and run around.
We still haven't found the cannons yet, right?
We haven't found the cannons.
We've heard the cannons.
Yes.
And I've been alarmed by the cannons. I didn't realize I was such a fraidy cat till I got here.
And then there's beer and wine at the commissary.
And I found beer right here in the butcher block.
Yeah, we are in the perfect spot.
Yeah.
Food, beer, and bathrooms.
Yeah, so everything's covered, right? So we're going to get back into some music, and we'll thank some more sponsors, talk to some more guests, and again, if you're listening at home, come on out here. It's only like a 40-minute drive if you're in Uvalde proper, 40 miles to the west, to hang a left, and boom, you're inside here. Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. We're live with UvaldeRadio.net. UvaldeRadio.net. We are live in Brackettville, Texas. I hope we're on the air. I think we are. Okay, so we are live for Fort Clark Springs. We did some Alan Jackson, Little Bitty. Man, there's not a little bitty. There's a whole lot of fun out here today. And Cory, what is next on the agenda here this afternoon? Again, and let me make this. What time is it right now? 11:54 by my clock. Look what am I drinking right here? What am I
You
drinking?
are drinking yourself a nice cold beer, and I have a Bucket O black cherry cream soda. It's a whole bucket of soda.
That is a big old bucket of soda. That would be outlawed in New York.
Well, it's Wild West soda,
Exactly.
so it's legal here.
Everything's bigger in Texas, and we're proud of it, man. That's a whole lot of corn syrup and sugar and everything else in there. So it's weird because my beer is actually healthier than your soda.
Yes, but
crazy.
I've been running around working
That's
it
true.
off.
You are working it. Yeah, yes, absolutely. Oh, but believe me, I was not fat shaming you by any means. How you doing, guys? All right. Hey, that was what's his name from the band, right?
Yes.
Phil. They tore it up there. Are they already done? I guess.
They are done for
I
the
guess
day.
it's coming up on noon, so there's going to be some more live music out here. Well, go and give us as much of the agenda as you can. I'm going to find the next
Let me
song to
find
play.
the agenda. I know the Indian dancers are coming up. And then there's a little group that plays the wash tub and the guitar over here as well.
Yeah, I'm
They're
interested
going
to
to be
see those
doing some
guys.
live music, and I'm going to learn how to play the wash tub.
Learn? What's there to learn? Seriously.
There's got to be some kind of technique, or it wouldn't be a musical instrument.
Now, we were joking earlier about how you were joking about not doing laundry.
No.
So you're not willing to learn how to use a wash tub for its intended purpose.
No.
But absolutely willing to use it as a musical instrument.
Yes, because I prefer music over laundry.
Priorities, lady. Priorities. Come on now. See, come out here. Meet Cory Brooks in the flesh. Debate her. I'm tired of it.
Yes.
So much cool stuff to do. I got to go see the camels. The kid in me comes out when I see camels. Well, I'm kind of a sucker for zoos.
You can ride them.
I'm not gonna-
They have saddles.
They're not going to let me. I'm a big guy. They're not going to let me get on that. That hump is. What happened to the hump? The hump's gone. I'm like,
No, it's terrifying, though. I mean, seriously, these are huge animals, and if you think about it, if they decided they're done, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. What are you going to do? You're going to fall off. They're going to kick you off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're in charge.
But camels, I mean, they're kind of chill. I mean,
have you seen some of them get mad, though?
I have. Well, not in a long time.
They
Not
got
since I was a
long
little
legs.
kid. But generally, their demeanor seems to be. I mean, compared to other four-legged animals, right?
Well, I guess. Well,
I
elephants
mean, they're
are kind
so
of chill,
cool
too.
and chill. They were like a cigarette, mascot for many years because they're that cool. Anyway, kids, don't smoke. It's bad for you. Meanwhile, I'm talking about drinking beer on the air too. So
Don't smoke and ride camels
Boy,
and drink beer at the same time.
or smoke camels. This show suddenly went PG-13. All right, so again, we're obviously having a blast out here. Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. My first visit to Brackettville, and I don't think it's ever going to be any better than this.
No,
This
this
is so
is
cool.
fantastic.
Obviously, they are having a great time. Brackettville looks real good out here today. So
Yes.
Thanks everybody for inviting us out here, having a great time. I'm going to get some food on. We're about to be off the air pretty soon. We're going to go a little late because I think we'll have a couple more guests might come on here. Meanwhile, let's get back into some music. Some Bailey Zimmerman, Fall in Love, and this is is UvaldeRadio.net live in Brackettville, Texas. UvaldeRadio.net. We are live in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs. Our broadcast should have been ending it right around now at noon, but we're having a good time, so we're going to keep it going for just a bit longer. If you'd like more information about today's events, go to fortclarkdays.org. Learn a little bit more, get directions. Just 90 west, about 40 miles outside of Uvalde. Come out here to Brackettville. Lots of beautiful people, some great music. There's lots to do, and bring the pets. Pet friendly. There's camels out here. There's horses, and a really good time. We're going to get back into some music. We hope to see you out here. If you are missing the event, go to our Facebook page, find all the wonderful photos. Here's some Dirk Bentley by request. We are UvaldeRadio.net, live in Brackettville. UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, it's Robert Miguel once again live in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville. The website is fortclarkdays.org. You've still got time to get on out here if you're in Uvalde or the surrounding areas. 40 minutes west, down 90, and you're in Brackettville, and you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Fort Clark Days, a living history festival. They've got horses and camels, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! No lions, no tigers, no bears, but there are camels and there's horses. There's Indians, legit Native Americans, Buffalo Soldiers, reenactments of history. There's going to be a screening of The Alamo starring John Wayne a little bit later, and a gentleman who was actually in the movie. Yes, right. I guess one of the last surviving members of the original Alamo 1960 classic film cast. So come on out and see us. Lots going on here in Brackettville, Texas with UvaldeRadio.net. Right, UvaldeRadio.net. Hey, I'm Robert Miguel. We got Cory Brooks here. What's up, Cory?
Oh, I've been just running around.
You are. You're just trekking all over the place, having a good time, right?
Yep.
We are in Brackettville, Texas at Fort Clark Days over in Fort Clark Springs, just 40 miles west of Uvalde. And it's been an eye-opening experience, man. I just had no idea that this was a thing that was, I heard about it for the 5 years that I've been back in Uvalde. But I know obviously the pandemic slowed it down a little bit, but they are back in full force, and this is so much fun. And I haven't even left a table.
No, I left you here while I went and had fun.
Like, I'm having a blast, and I haven't even got off my rump yet. So I can only imagine what you're going through and what I got my second beer. And to be on beer number 2 by quarter after noon, I'm back in party mode, man.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
So there is cold beers, there's adult beverages, there's lots of food. We're definitely going to get into those Indian tacos in a bit. There's a line for the Indian tacos, apparently.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So
it is lunchtime here in Brackettville, and we invite you guys to come join us. The events are going on until 5 p.m. Thank you to our guests so far. We've had the Buffalo Soldiers on. We've had Phil Pacheco from Country Horizons, the band that performed this morning. We had Lipan, is it Lipan?
Richard from
Lipan Apache.
Lipan Apache.
So we've also had the cat lady, as I like to call her, from Wandering Cats. Her name is Megan.
And Tommy from the Alamo movie with John Wayne.
Yes. Tommy Wind? What do you say?
Tommy.
What was his last name again?
It was a cool last name. He had definitely a stage name.
Whirl.
Tommy Whirl.
Tommy Whirl. He was a gentleman who actually had a line in the 1960s John Wayne classic, The Alamo, which they are screening here later this afternoon. So cool.
And he's like in his 80s, and he's been shot off roofs like over 5,000 times in his lifetime, and he's still walking.
What a fantastic Western trope. That's something you see in every movie, and not even the classics, but you take, like, for instance, Back to the Future 3, when they go to the Old West. Mm-hmm. There's always somebody that gets shot. Current, newer school Westerns, like Young Guns, there's always a guy that gets shot, and falls off a roof or a balcony, and he's that guy.
Yes, and when they do those shows, they don't have mattresses and stuff they land on. They land on the dirt. Now, he told me they do fluff the dirt up, so you're just not landing on rocks and harder. Dirt. But it's still just landing on the ground.
That's, man, again, for a guy his age, he's getting around real good for all those falls. Man,
for getting shot off the roof so many times.
I can barely get out of this chair. The guy's got 30 years on me at least, so it's fantastic. So we've met so many crazy characters, some really cool people with some great stories, and the day is still young, so we still got till 5 p.m. to enjoy it, so you can come on out here. What else is going on?
We've got the cannons are going to go off at 1 o'clock.
I'm going to enjoy this cold beer.
Okay, you enjoy your beer. They're going to do the cannon shooting at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock today. And that should be loud and fun.
Yes.
They're getting ready. I saw everybody lining up.
By then, I'll have a buzz. I won't even care anymore. I'll be like, hey, cool, cannons.
Well, I'll stand you right in front of it and see if you care.
They won't scare me anymore. So good times. What else is on top?
It looks like they're getting ready for the Indian dancers.
Okay, cool. All right.
So that's going to be happening soon. And then we have a gentleman right here that I sent over that wants to talk to us.
Is that the guy you were like crushing on earlier?
Yes.
Okay, we'll say that off the air. And we're going to get back into some music. Hopefully get a couple more guests on before we wrap it up here. We're running a little bit late on our broadcast, but hey, it's our show.
We're having fun.
We'll go late if we can. So let's get back into some music. We are live at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville, Texas. Details at fortclarkdays.org. Here's some Hardy with Lainey Wilson. Wait in the truck. We are UValleYradio.net. UValleYradio.net. Hey, I'm Robert Miguel. Good afternoon. We are live in Brackettville, Texas. Fort Clark Days in Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville. If you are in Uvalde and you've been listening to me and I've been telling you all morning, but you know what? Make the trip. 40 miles west of Uvalde proper. Hang a left into here and you got a really cool Living History Festival. Details are at fortclarkdays.org. Thanks again to the organizers for inviting us out here. It's been a really great morning and I haven't even got out of my seat yet, really. I've got up twice to get a beer and that's how cool my day has been so far. Office view, awesome. So there's that cannon. Yeah, live on the air. You got a cannon shot there. So I'm joined here by our next guest. His name is Rhett. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So now you're dressed up all in period. You got a cool uniform. So what group, what organization are you with?
So I work for Fort McCavitt State Historic Site way up in Menard County.
Wow.
And
okay.
we travel around the state to other frontier forts and we talk about the significance of the frontier fort system in the 1850s up to the 1880s.
Wow. So I mean, are you a history buff? Is that what got you involved in this kind of thing?
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
I've always loved history. I've always loved watching John Wayne and Clint Eastwood movies and grown up watching that stuff, and then now I'm kind of living it.
Very cool. So now you're a young guy. You seem pretty young. Are you a student? I'm not going to ask your age, but are you in like college? Or are you just
Well,
do you study history, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
No, not anymore. I graduated about 6 years ago.
Very good. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
you look young for your age. It's good.
Thank you.
So, I mean, so Cory was just smitten by your whole, like, first of all, she likes guys in uniform, doesn't matter what kind of uniform. But then you got the cool dress up. Explain, this is radio, explain to us kind of what you're decked out in as far as historical significance.
So right now I'm dressed in the 1850s Army uniform. I was sort of dressed down though, because the Army in the 1850s was mostly a construction force. They didn't really fight any battles in Texas, not any extensive battles. Normally they'd be wearing a full light blue uniform. The color would be considered sky blue because it's a light blue. And you would have, white or black cross belts holding your ammunition and a belt with a bayonet and a musket and a forage cap. Well, I'm just wearing the cap. I'm just wearing the pants. Right now I'm wearing a civilian vest and a linen frock coat that works as a duster because it's almost like a desert around here. You want to keep your clothes from getting dirty. And it's just a down dress uniform that I could work in. I could just go and leave and go to a nearby settlement to get booze or to get some downtime. I'm very much dressed down.
Okay, you went for the booze. First of all, that's cool. Booze and ladies. That's what you do in the downtown, right?
That was the army of the day.
Yeah, I think it probably still is.
Yeah.
But you look great. So how long have you been with this group representing and teaching people about this?
Well, last month was my 2-year anniversary being with Fort McCavitt, but I came from Savannah, Georgia, and I've worked at several state parks over there, ranging anywhere from the 1700s colonial period all the way up until the end of the Civil War era.
So now where are you from? Where do you live? Where do you call home in real life?
Oh, hard because I'm in a military family. I originated in Oklahoma.
Okay, very cool. So you must do a lot of traveling then. So this is a pretty extensive full part of your existence, right? You're doing this a lot. So give me an example of some of the cool places you've been and where you're going to go.
Oh, you mean career-wise?
Yeah. Just with this group, do you guys get around a lot?
Yes. Now, some of our site managers and interpreters will go on a private trip to, say, New Orleans to commemorate the battle that took place there in 1815. We've been up to Mississinawa, Indiana for an 1813 battle that took place there. Some of us have gone to Fort McHenry together. We do anything from early Republic to Civil War era, but as a part of the job, we go to a site that is relevant to the Texas Historical Commission, like Fort Griffin. We go to Fort Lancaster. We sometimes go to Washington on the Brazos. Last weekend we commemorated Texas Independence Day at Washington on the Brazos by portraying the delegates who signed the Declaration of Independence.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes, so just to name a few.
So you'll play various different characters, I guess, right? So give us an example of some of the, I guess, different things, different personas that you've taken on.
Well, I have portrayed Captain Governor H. Nelson of the 1st Texas Mounted Rifles at Fort McCavitt. McCavitt was abandoned in 1859, right before the Civil War. And when the Civil War broke out, some Texas cavalrymen had Union prisoners of war housed at Fort McCavitt because they couldn't get out of the state in time. So while they were there, they were housed at this fort with nowhere to go. And the captain of the Mounted Rifles was the man I was portraying. The last weekend I portrayed Benjamin Goodrich, who was a signer of the Declaration of Independence in Washington, Texas. So we get into real character with them, and it requires a little bit of research on who they are and how
I was going to say, you have to do some research, and I'm sure that can you deep dive into, like, say, because you're portraying them, into like mannerisms or maybe an accent or a voice? Is there enough data, enough information historically to where you can kind of really try to legitimately reenact it, or you just got to do your best kind of?
In some cases, you have to just do your best because you don't have too much information on them. But in the case of Goodrich, he was from Tennessee, so his accent was a little different than, say, someone from South Carolina or New York. So you get. I have friends from all over the East Coast, and just ask their opinion on, say, an accent. And sometimes the best you can do is your accent. But if you are portraying a man, say, like Robert Potter, who was the Secretary of the Navy, he was a very fiery individual. He got into a lot of fights back east, and he was very domineering, and so you would have to take up that part.
Now, you seem like a pretty chill kind of guy. Does it take a little bit of something to get into kind of more of an aggressive or more outgoing kind of character?
Yeah, preferably you would go for a man who is a little more like you to make it easier.
Sure, for sure, absolutely. Well, man, I mean, you look great, and you seem to have a really great knowledge base on this. Are you, like... Are you a thespian? I mean, did you get on this because of history, or are you kind of an actor by nature?
Well, it really started, again, with the Hollywood, and I always knew that, say, the actors on screen were not really soldiers or cowboys or things like that. But when my great aunt up in Washington State told me about a Civil War reenactment that took place at her house, the cannons shook her windows every year that they fired the cannons. She told me to go out there and check it out. And I had been to battlefields back east and watched this stuff and seen these reenactors do this stuff. I went out there and they gave me a uniform and said, fall in. And it's not like you're living in a different world, but we feel like we have a sense of duty to accurately portray the people back then so that the modern audience can get an understanding of who came before them.
Now, if I may say, you've got classic good looks. You've got this kind of look that would be really easy to buy as a young soldier. You know what I mean? That kind of was taken away from a small town home, and had to go off to war for whatever reason. You kind of got that cool look, like the unfortunate young guy that that passes, or it comes to some tragic end. Is that kind of the role that you tend to I mean, as far as, I would totally buy that now. As a hardened war leader, you know what I mean? A battle guy, commander, it'd be a little harder sell for me. Well, I haven't seen you in action, though, so I don't know.
Well, a lot of times we living historians like to portray ourselves as we are today, but in the setting of back then. So if we're just a common man in today's world, we just prefer to portray the common man back then and just explain factually, I could have been a carpenter, I could have been a blacksmith, I could have been this or that before I decided to join the Army because I wanted adventure. I wanted free housing and clothing and get paid a couple bucks a month.
Very cool.
When I was portraying Captain Nelson of the Mounted Rifles, Nelson was in the Mexican War and he was Texas Rangers for a while. So to make myself look a bit older, I grew the beard out, and it helps. It adds about 5 years, I hope.
Very good, yeah.
And had to be a little hard on the guys because they were, a lot of the Texas Rangers who turned Confederate cavalry were very rambunctious and didn't always like to follow orders.
Man, I love that you know your stuff, so it's really cool. It's been really cool talking to you. Again, Rhett here, and give us some information as to where we can, if you guys have a website or a social media page, where can we find more about what you guys are up to?
So Fort McCavitt is, we have a Facebook page. We also have a Texas Historical Commission website, and Fort McCavitt is spelled MCKAVETT.
MCA. AVETT?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very cool. All right.
Fort McCavitt and is located in Menard County. We do historical programs every month. Sometimes we do workshops. Sometimes we portray actual events that took place at the fort. So if you go to our website and look at our schedule, you can find all your information there.
Final question, here at Fort Clark Days here in Brackettville, is this your first time here, or have you come here year over year?
I was here last year, and that was my first time.
And what in your experience with these types of events, how do you like it here?
I love the hospitality that the employees give us, and our friends and our colleagues. It's great to have a little reunion once every few months with all of our fellow living historians. And we're treated well, we're fed well, and we're accommodated very nicely. We're
Very
happy
good.
to be here.
Well, man, thank you so much for sharing some time with us. Again, Rhett here, and we're going to get back into some music. We are at Fort Clark Days in Brackettville, Texas. Again, the website is fortclarkdays.org. For more information, you still got a little bit of time. You got about, 4.5 hours to still enjoy the festivities out here in Brackettville. We are UvaldeRadio.net.
Bye-bye.
UvaldeRadio.net. Oh, it's already up. Hey, we are live in Brackettville. I'm Robert Miguel, and we're about to wrap it up here at Fort Clark Days, Fort Clark Springs, Brackettville. It has been a wonderful morning, and there's still more to come throughout the afternoon. The event goes till at least 5. Our broadcast was supposed to end at noon, but we were just having so much fun talking to people, we just kept it going. So we're about to bookend it all here with one of the board members. Are you the co-chair?
Co-chair.
Yes. When we spoke to you earlier this week, and it was a really informative, fun interview. But welcome again, Christina Bitter. Making our second appearance on UvaldeRadio.net in 1 week's time. Very cool.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Are you kidding? Thank you for having us out here. This has been a really eye-opening experience. Again, like I said at our interview, you hear about it as a Uvaldian that this is happening here, just our neighbors, just a little west. And sometimes it just takes something like this to get you out of your element and coming out. But this is really just a hidden gem of an event.
Yes,
that's fantastic.
You had no idea that you had so much history right in your back door.
No idea, and I had no idea that our neighbors in Brackettville were so cool. You got a great community out here, really fun people. They've been very welcoming to both me and Cory, and Cory's mean. Nobody likes Cory. But
I'm a little scared of her, but.
So we've taken a lot of photos. We posted up on our Facebook page, and of course, I'm sure there's lots of coverage on the Fort Clark Days Facebook page as well too. So we're wrapping up our broadcast, but the event goes on until 5 today. So Christina, let me know what is still to come here if people still want to come out today.
We will still have living historians here all day long. We currently, our crown dancers are performing. They're Little Pond Apaches.
That's the drums I hear in the background.
Those
Very
are
nice.
drums in the background. We will have live music still throughout the day. You can visit our museum. Food vendors are still going strong. Arts and crafts. Farmers market is still operating. So we've still got a little bit of everything.
And there's the Alamo screening. That's going to be happening this afternoon too, right?
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Tonight we are screening the John Wayne Alamo at our historic Post Theater. It is going to be at 6 o'clock, start showing, but at 5 o'clock we're going to have a Q&A before with our local historian and actor, Dave Crow.
He's a character, and he's got some stories to tell, right?
He does. So he will tell many a tall tale before the showing of the Alamo. So it is free to the public, first 100 people, and we'd love to see everybody come down and see the movie and see our theater.
So there is a full schedule, I believe, that's posted up on the website, right?
Yes.
FortClarkDays.org. So if you haven't been, coerced enough to come out here yet, check out the website, get details, come on out here. It's kind of easy access, much easier than I thought it would be.
Oh, yeah.
So parking, and there's plenty of food and drink, and there's cold beer. I'm telling you what, I've been bragging on the air all day. I had a beer before noon on a Saturday. I feel like an old school, like my old party days,
Yes.
It's crazy. So it was just a little before noon, but I got in. So that was my breakfast of champions this morning. So you know what? You mentioned earlier on our interview earlier this week that one of your co-chairs is your mother-in-law.
Why, yes,
is that her right there behind you?
Yeah,
Let's get her on the air over here.
Yeah,
Just get her. Just scoot in. You can share a chair. It's all good. You're little petite ladies. And what was your name, ma'am?
Francis Bitter.
Francis, well, thank you for having us out here again, having Uvalde Radio out. Tell us, I know that Christina's kind of new to the organization, and I know she's got a lot of energy and some good ideas, but you've been with the organization for a long time.
No, we both moved out here.
Oh, that's right.
3 years ago, we brought our whole family out here,
so
we just love it.
What is your experience here with Fort Clark Days? How much fun are you having?
This has been phenomenal. All of our chairmen have just taken care of their areas. It's been so easy on us.
Has it really been that easy? It seems like a lot of work.
It does look like a lot of work, doesn't it? But when you divide it up among good people, it all falls together.
So you're just good planners and delegators,
That's exactly. We've learned to delegate.
Kudos to you. So have you been involved in the 3 years, or just like your first or second year?
Well, the first year we were here, we got to attend Fort Clark Days, and then the pandemic
came. You got bit then, and you were like, I'm in.
No, none of that. And so Then this year they were having trouble finding someone to chair it, and Christina said, well, I'll do it. And I said, well, if you'll do it, I'll help you.
Nice. So that's the co.
We've had a lot of fun together.
Well, you guys have taken the ball and ran with it. Too bad you guys weren't on the Cowboys this year. We could have got that Super Bowl. but yeah, you guys have done a bang-up job. It's really, I'm really fortunate to have Uvalde Radio out here this year when you guys are really ramping things up. I cannot wait to see what you guys bring to the table next year. What has been some of your favorite moments thus far? I know it's not over yet, but what have you really enjoyed seeing?
Just our committee, how well they work together. I mean, and the people around here, you go to do something and they'll go, oh, here, let me do that. You know, it's just, people here are wonderful.
It's always good when you get willing and able bodies that are willing to jump in and help.
Yeah.
So as far as the fan that's just enjoying, like, the activities and whatnot, what do you lean towards? Are you into the cannons, the animals, the food, the drink? What do you really like?
All of that.
All of it?
And the food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
We've got some smash burgers here from Uvalde that I'm fixing to go try because all I'm hearing is how great it is. So
is that where the farm fresh beef is over there by the commissary too? Yes. Yeah. I've had some of their stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So there's plenty to eat over here, and over there the Indian tacos. That's been kind of that's got my eye. I'm gonna have to go see what that's all about.
Check that out.
So again, the event's going on till 5. And what do you think as far as how you've seen this played out? Again, I know it's not over quite yet, but your brain's got to be thinking, what do you already any idea of next year? How you going to make it bigger and better?
We've had lots of ideas. In fact, we came up, like the week ahead. Oh, we ought to do it. And we're like, let's save that for next year.
Yeah.
Because we're coming up against the wire now. So,
very cool.
But we've got lots of plans to expand and lots of young people coming in and to help with bright ideas.
And there's a lot of young people on hand learning and having a great time. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's the best kind of education, is when it's entertaining as well. Christina, why don't you come back over here, too? It might take two brains, but if you guys have any sponsors or people you'd like to thank, personally, go ahead and give us a little group of thank you. Offhand, I know we're not going to make you guys remember everybody.
First and foremost, we want to thank our volunteers. I mean, this is completely 100% volunteer run. And we could not do without them. But yes, they can trust Union Pacific.
I think
I saw DKM Enterprises on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Harbor Rail, and of course Fort Clark, the association here, just allowing us to use the grounds and all the buildings and everything. They're our #1 sponsor.
Yeah, so if anybody would like to help out, again, we talked about this earlier this week, but if you'd like to be a volunteer or maybe get involved or maybe whatever it is you just kind of want to get more involved, who's the best one to reach out to? Is there an email or is it through the website? Just kind of shoot something there?
Just go to fortclarkdays.org, and we have links to all our contacts if you're interested in sponsoring, volunteering, being a vendor. It's got a link to everybody to come.
Well, we hope we're here again next year. So thank you guys again for throwing this big old shindig, first of all, and thank you for inviting us to the party. So we're gonna get back into music. We're gonna do one more break where I can let Cory say goodbye too. But thank you, ladies, so much for joining us here on air.
Thank you for joining us.
And we're having a great time. I'm gonna get back into some music, get back to some beer, and we're gonna send this one out to Brackettville, Montgomery Gentry with My Town, because it's a great town here in Brackettville. And we are UvaldeRadio.net. UvaldeRadio.net. Good afternoon. I'm Robert McGill. We are live in Brackettville. Going to send that one out to them. Montgomery Gentry, my town. And if I didn't love Uvalde so much, I'd call this my town. Brackettville's pretty awesome, man. These people are cool, right?
These people have been having a blast today.
Bracketvillians.
Yeah,
I'm going to adopt this as my next hometown now. So we're having a good time. Again, it's Fort Clark Days. It kicked off yesterday morning at 8 o'clock. It was student day. The kids all came out here, did a lot of learning, had a lot of fun. And then last night was a street dance. Wish I could have been here for that. But that's awesome because that band, Country Horizons, was fantastic. They played this morning. There's going to be more live music throughout this afternoon. And I think the Indian dancers on still right now? Is that the drum set still
The Indian dancers are going on right now, and there's still a whole lot going on this afternoon. There's David Crow is going to be doing his poetry, and he's written a bunch of books, and he also was involved in the whole John Wayne thing with the Alamo.
Yeah,
and the
so
movie.
he's like a legitimate cowboy gone Hollywood. He was got an illustrious career as a legit cowboy and an actor. He's been in some feature films, like you said, wrote some books, and now he kind of does this history lessons with his experience with John Wayne and the Alamo and all that stuff. So that sounds pretty interesting. I'd like to see the Alamo again. I haven't seen it in years. years. You know,
just to relate to everything you've been talking about today.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy Whirl and.
Yeah, he was a good character. So, of what's going on today, what's been your favorite, aspect of today's festivities? If you can pick a favorite.
As I've been walking around, I know the kids learned a lot yesterday, but I've learned a whole lot today. Just listening to people and all the different tents and everything. They've got the folks talking about. They've got the fires, they've got the old furniture, the pots and pans. They talk about how it really was to live back there.
Yes.
And it's interesting because it reminds me, because my mom's 93, and she told me, she tells me stories that her grandparents have told her and stuff, and how they survived fires because they had fires back and they didn't have fire departments and stuff, and there was a lady over there, and she had the old pots and pans and how the metal and everything. And it reminded me of one of the stories my mom said when they had a fire, her family members hid in the big iron bathtub underneath a bunch of wet blankets, and that's how they survived the fire.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that kind of real information that gets passed down. We forget about because of all the modern conveniences and technology and whatnot. We lost power a couple of days in the last month or so in Uvalde, and it made me think back. I was like, remember when you'd lose power and you didn't have a cell phone? And I mean we're not that old, but I remember when the lights went out, you put a candle on, you got a flashlight, and you checked on your neighbors. Nowadays we're still connected to the internet and whatnot. We can still kind of do stuff, but imagine these people, the people they're depicting before any of those things, before there was a television or a radio to get information, to even find out. I mean, we're talking about a period when there was no weathermen, really.
No.
If a storm hit, a tornado hits you, it came out of nowhere. There was no app to give you a heads up. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Nope. We complain all the time about these crazy winds or a freeze, but we know it's coming.
Or having to go down a mile to the convenience store. They had to horse and buggy it for miles.
Traffic jams.
Yes.
All these things that we know. We've got an app or we've got a radio or a TV to let us know, hey, there's an inconvenience for you down the way. These people just lived it in real time, and it's so cool to kind of see how these people made it through and came out alive.
Yes.
So
came out alive is the key. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I think my favorite guest on the air today was the Buffalo Soldier guy. I'm really fascinated by their story. There's been some really cool movies made about it and some cool documentaries, like you mentioned. But I think that especially African Americans, there's been that untold story that's just now coming to light. So, and that's, I'm not an activist in any way, but I think it's just a fascinating story. And you watch some of those movies if you get a chance. But man, it's been a really cool learning experience all the way around. So, lots of food and drink. Again, cold beers.
Yes.
And what kind of food are we going to get? We're about to sign off, pack up, and go get some food. What do you think?
Indian tacos and smash burgers. I keep hearing about.
Yes, something with beef or Indian taco sounds good. I'm going to keep with the beers and keep with that theme. So we're pretty much done here. Again, the website is fortclarkdays.org. If you're in Uvalde, you still got time to come on out here. There's been a few Uvaldeans stop by the tent, and we've met a lot of cool Bracketvillians. So it's been great. Thanks again to Christina Bitter and Annabelle McNew, which are our contacts with the Fort Clark Days organization. Thank you guys so much for turning us on to this and inviting us out. It's been a good time, right?
Yes, and check out our Facebook page. We've got pictures and
more to come.
So many. Yeah, we're gonna stick around for a little while and go around and take some more pictures. Just put up there.
Shout out to Cory Brooks, who was just getting the lady, the woman on the scene, man, just talking to all of our guests, and really you just our staff photographer now. You've been taking
That's funny.
All the fantastic photos are on our Facebook page are taken by Cory. So it's been a really cool time all the way around. So thanks to everybody involved, of course, to law enforcement and the Border Patrol out here for keeping everybody safe as well too. And I guess gonna wrap it up then, huh?
That's it for us.
All right, so we are done in Brackettville, Texas. Well, we're not done. We're gonna stick around.
We're gonna hang around.
We're gonna party a little bit longer, but we're gonna wrap it up with just something that I feel like this is a great song to wrap it up with. Little Texas, God bless Texas, and we're having a good time out here.
That's right.
All right, so y'all have a great afternoon. We're Robert and Cory. We're done. This is UvaldeRadio.net.